Hi, in this video we will see how we can create a training session using one of the datasets. So going back to our earlier um dataset import in the project demo, if we go there, we have some datasets that we created. These were just for demonstration purpose. So if we would want to delete them, we can delete these datasets. And this is the one that has 128 Coco uh, images, Coco 128 images, which are already split 80-20. So let's go into the trainer and create a trainer. So let's say YOLO V8 test trainer. So we can add a description, demo trainer. And once we created it, now we can create different sessions here. Each session is sort of an experiment. So this is a general grouping of trainer experiments that we have created, and now we can add a new training session. So let's say train 1, uh, test YOLO V8. Second is choosing the data set. So we will go into the data set groups, select the data set. We have, uh, if we had multiple data set, they would all show here. So we just have Coco 128. So we select that one. Annotation set. Again, if we have multiple annotations, we have to choose from the one that we want to use in this training session. This is ground truth. We can choose one of the two groups. So since this is a training group, so we'll choose train. Please note that the name does not matter in this case. You could name your group to anything, but you associate it with the training group here. Again, validation data set, same one, ground truth, and the group here is validation. We can also choose test data set, but YOLO V8 is not using here, so that doesn't matter. So this is training data information. Now we can go to here, the model. We can either train for model pack or YOLO V8. So we'll have YOLO V8. We have a choice of segmentation training or detection training. This is a detection data set. Use default weights, uh, or you can choose weights from another session also. So that would be continual of training using trained weights from another session. So it's not showing because there's no other session here. So default is the only option. We can train for, let's say, 2 epochs. Batch size by default is 10, but and image width height is 640 by 640. So that completes our setting for the trainer, and we start a session. So this will take a considerable amount of time, that the data set will be replicated into usable format in the YOLO V8 format in a separate training server that is being deployed here. The data will be fetched. So I will pause the video at this stage, and as the data start populating, we will resume at that stage. So uh, we come back to this session and we see that trainer has gone into uh, image preparation stage. So there were 128 images, and those have been copied onto our training server. And now the training session will proceed towards training. So I will stop again and then resume when the training starts. So, continuing our video training, we see that training has progressed further on, and it is now completed two of the two epochs. So, it is showing the status complete here. We can always go to the detailed where we can see the parameters that were used for training. We can see the system logs, and most of all, we can see the tray. We see that there is a PT file that has been created, which is the weights file for YOLO V8. We can always download that file, and it is being downloaded. So if we go to the downloads section, we can see that we have a YOLO V8 training file here. If we were to start another training that would use the same weights, so the process for that is that we can start a new trainer. And this time, let's say we say continue training, continue from train one. And data set we are using is the same, Coco 128. And this time, let's use a pre-random split rather than using the same, so that I demonstrate you another way of training. The annotation set that we want to use is ground truth. Training is YOLO V8 detect and use default weight. If I click now here, I see that I can also use weights from the training one session. Let's say again two epochs and 10 is the batch size. And if we were to do a start session now, it will create another one. At any time, if you want to terminate a trainer, the way to do that is that we can either stop all sessions, or we can go here and we can do a stop here. It does. So it does not show immediately here, but the process of termination has been triggered in the background, and in few moments we will see that this has turned from training to terminated. So as we see here, the status has changed to terminated because we had stopped it, since we did not want to incur the training expense for the trainer server that was going. But this was just to demonstrate that we can use the transfer weights from another training session into this session, and of course at any time we can terminate a training session as well. I hope that was useful. See you next in another tutorial.